So what do you do when you have a housing supply shortage and you have an affordability crisis and you're running a government?
That we can have a relatively modest increase in unemployment.
Well, you tank the jobs market, of course. Jerome Powell on Wednesday said he is looking to cut 1.2 million jobs across the United States over a period of time to make homes more affordable.
There was a big imbalance between supply and demand. Housing prices were going up at an unsustainably fast level. So
I've long maintained the only way that the housing prices were going to drop significantly is if the job market tanked. If the job market collapses, then we'll see houses go down like a lot. But what does that mean for you if you're looking for a more affordable housing option? When is it you're going to see more affordable homes? We're going to be talking about that and digging into what Jerome Powell said. And if you're looking to buy or sell, is it time to do that now or should you wait it out? Okay, first things first. How is it that Jerome Powell's speech even makes any sense to making homes more affordable? If you don't have a job, you can't pay for a house. And that usually happens in the most affordable housing sector. A reporter had asked Jerome Powell if resetting the market with 1.3 million jobs was going to be the magic number, and this is what he had to say.
So I don't know what the odds are. I think that there's a very high likelihood that we'll have a period of what I've mentioned is below trend growth.
I don't have a lot of confidence that he doesn't have a specific number that he's looking for when it comes to this. I mean, he is the numbers guy. He should have a roundabout number. And will this look like the 2008 crash? Well, that's pretty much impossible. And I've told you this before, but let me just reiterate. In the 2008 crash, we had these ridiculous ARM loans or interest-only loans where people were coming in and they could state their income. Anybody that walked in pretty much was getting a home loan. We had a lot of more predatory lending practices as well. And lending as a whole was completely different than it is now. Even the appraisal process was different. The way that people have gotten home loans now, they've gone through a much more stringent loan application process and review and underwriting. So it's not the same kind of people that have been borrowing money that they did in 2008. So it wouldn't be collapsing because of that. But if you have a weakening jobs market and more people can't pay for their houses, you're going to have a lot more people that are going to have to sell their house because they have no other choice. Because usually when there's a weakening in the jobs market, the lowest wage earners are going to be the ones that are mostly affected.
So when I say reset, I'm not looking at a particular specific, set of data or anything.
So a reset of the market isn't necessarily a bad thing. He's calling it a correction. So I'm not sure if he's wanting a more balanced market where there's just as many buyers as there are sellers. Is that his magic mark? We're not 100% sure. But I can't say that we're going to be going back to the numbers of 2019. The reason being is there is so many people that are sitting on a lot of equity, a lot. So even if you bought your house in 2019 and let's just say the market went down like 20%, you really didn't lose anything. You still had a little bit of value gained. Now, if you bought at the height of the market and you had to sell right away, you could have a problem, but the way that the market is right now, you're still going to be having some equity to play with. You may just be able to walk away skate-free. So if you are looking for an affordable housing option right now, how soon do you think we're going to be seeing this is probably your next question.
Shelter inflation is going to remain high for some time. We're looking for it to come down, but it's not exactly clear when that will happen.
And according to Jerome Powell, it seems like it's going to be a little bit longer than what most people are hoping for. If you're asking my opinion about this, I'm saying probably by the springtime, summertime of 2023, we're going to see a lot more affordable homes hitting the market. Now, some people ask me, do you think it's going to be those companies like Blackstone dumping their assets onto the market in order to get, a quick buck? And I don't think it's going to be them. The institutional investors are still sitting there, but they're holding on to their assets. They're not buying anymore. They haven't been buying for the last couple months because they're holding up all their little money bags and they're waiting to see how far the housing market's going to fall. We're going to wait this out, but we're going to keep this money right off to the side, $50 billion right over here. And once the housing market collapses again, we're going to just scoop it in right back into there again. And they did it in the last housing crash too. They bought up a ton of houses. I think the first sector of the housing market that's going to be hit the hardest is the Airbnb market because so many people decided to buy those second homes. If more people don't have a job, then more people can't pay for vacations. So that means less people are going to be renting those Airbnbs. Those individual investors that have those Airbnbs are going to end up taking a hit. So they're either probably going to either dump them or B, turn them into long-term rentals, which is going to be a good thing for the rental market because that means that rental prices will come down. And I think Jerome Powell's kind of hinting at that as well. But when he makes the comment of resetting the market, it does make me a little nervous because what his version of reset is not very clear. I don't even think it's really clear to him. And if it is, he doesn't want us to know it. Another thing I want you to be aware of if you are looking for a more affordable home, let's Let's just say you found a house that's now 100,000 and it was 200,000 at the height of the market. And you're like, wow, this is a really good deal. It may not be as good of a deal as you think once you see the interest rates you're going to have to pay. So if you bought that $100,000 house at an 8% interest rate, your monthly payment would be $734. Now, if you bought at the height of the market and the house was at 200,000 and you had a 2.5% interest rate, your monthly payment would have been $790. That's only a $56 difference. Instead of paying the seller a lot more money, you're going to pay the bank a lot more money. Ooh, while we're talking about this, if you hear real estate agents say, marry the house but date the rate, oh my gosh, that has got to be the worst, the slimiest thing I have ever heard. It is a sales tactic to get you to purchase a house, saying if you've fallen in love with the house, eventually the rate will go down. That's what if. That's a big giant what if. And if you're skating on that line of what a payment is, do not purchase the house. If it's right now at 6.7%, and let's just say your mortgage payment is $2,000 and it's $200 more than you paying currently in rent, but you're like, it's a house and I could purchase it. And they said maybe I can refinance down the road. Who knows, 2 years down the road, maybe interest rates will be at like 15%. So don't do this. If you can't afford a house, don't purchase a house. There's no reason for you to buy a house if you can't afford it. Never, ever, ever. I hate that expression. I wish they'd stop using it. I don't think it's going to be unheard of that we see interest rates all the way in the 8s by the end of this year and into next year. Jerome Powell said he's going to be making this very painful for us.
We have got to get inflation behind us. I wish there were a painless way to do that. There isn't.
No, I mean, I don't want anybody to lose their home. I don't think this is like necessarily really good for the market. My suggestion to them as the government, if there anybody in the government's listening, is to add more incentives to home builders to build more affordable housing options. And there's a ton of vacant land around the country that's owned by the government that they can hand over to developers as well to turn into single-family homes or townhomes or apartments. And they give it to them at a reduced rate. They can also do this with building materials. They can give the home builders at cost or low cost building materials to build those affordable housing options. And before you say, oh, don't get the government involved, don't expect them to get a handout. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that there's no reason why we can't build smaller homes that are more affordable in almost every single area. And it would take time, but this is going to take time too. So if you have a significant amount of people that are out of job, it's going to take them a long time before they ever are foreclosed on. It takes months before they ever get into that foreclosure process. Even if they were to get fired tomorrow, they would have to miss several payments before the foreclosure process started. That foreclosure process can take as little as 6 months, but up to years and years and years. So if you're expecting a wave of foreclosures to hit the market in 2023, it's probably not going to happen. And only time will tell with this new reset of the 1.2 or 3 million jobs they're going to be taking away from the market. How much is that going to affect the housing market and the housing prices? The markets that I think are going to be hit the hardest are the markets that have the most amount of new construction in the area. Those are the ones that are going to see the most significant price drops. But if you live in an area that doesn't have a ton of new construction in it, you're probably not going to see as low of a drop as maybe you're hoping for. That is very true of my little area here in Baton Rouge. In the last housing crash, sure, we did have short sales. Sure, we did have foreclosures, but it didn't make such a huge, significant difference. But we also never had a huge spike in prices in our area as well. The biggest thing that we're going to have to be keeping our eye on is mortgage interest rates and the rate of job loss in your specific area. Because if you consider the people that have currently been losing their jobs, it's mostly the people in the mortgage business. Well, if the mortgage business isn't doing as much work, that means appraisers are not doing as much work. That means home inspectors are not doing as much work. So they're going to be affected as well. So that's Jerome Powell's plan. Tank the housing market by taking away jobs, and then people will be forced to reduce their prices. So what do you think about Jerome Powell's plan? Let me know in the comments section below. To watch more videos about home affordability here in the United States, you're going to want to watch these videos right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer, and I tell you all this because good real estate information matters.